What's up, y'all? Welcome into today's episode of Forte Catholic. I'm so glad that you found us. Today's show is co-hosted by our good friend Liv Harrison. We talk about how my trip to my doctor and my dentist and difficult conversations that I had with a friend, all connected to my faith. In the first segment, we also talk about some character development that we have seen from the hosts of this show. And then we're going to look at a book that my daughter made me that both made my heart and broke my heart all at the same time. We hope that you enjoy today's show. If you do, please hit that subscribe button wherever you are listening on podcasts. Leave a review, share it with your friends. And over on our YouTube channel, we are right around 800 subscribers, so close to 1,000. So wherever you are listening, if you could go to youtube.com/ForteCatholic and hit that subscribe button, it would mean the world to us. Thank you guys so much and enjoy today's show. What's up? Welcome to Forte Catholic. I am Taylor Stroll. That is Olivia Eugene Harris. Olivia, hello.
Hi. Why do I still laugh? Like, why do I still think that's funny? I don't know.
You think everything I do is hilarious, which
that's
is why
true. Is that why I'm still in your life? Just because I laugh at you?
Yeah, 100%. There's you and this one guy that I play video games with named Wesley. He laughs at everything I say, and y'all are two of my favorite human beings alive, even though I don't interact with either of you all that much.
I hope you interact with me more than Wesley. I've never even heard of Wesley.
100%. 100%. It's been weird. It's been a while since we've recorded. Usually we're recording because we record my show together once a month, and usually we record your show in person like once or twice a month. But it's been like the full month since we've seen each other. So now you're like one of my normal co-hosts that I only talk to once a month.
Well, you're off, raising tomorrow's youth. So, you have a whole life, Taylor, outside of all of us, which is hard for us to imagine.
Well, maybe not for long. That's what we're going to start off talking about today. Okay. What are the things that make me frustrated when you talk about them on this show?
The things that I talk about?
What are the things that you like? Like, it was fine the first few times, but because you only for a while, you've gotten better. Okay, that's one. What else?
You have 4 things. You said them on my show the other day. My weight, my anxiety, my childhood. Oh shoot. What is the other thing that I always talk about?
I was
the one that you wanted me to wait. Oh, interrupting you.
There you go.
I just did it.
I was about to say we're gonna get to them all anyway. But the first two, your weight, which, like, by the way, it's one of those things. Like, your story is amazing, but it was just saying it every month that frustrated me, and you've gotten better at it. Yeah. Your anxiety, same thing. Yeah. Like, it's gotten better. I mean, it's not great, but it's gotten better. But at the same time, it's like, this is the happy show. Like, we don't want to talk about it every time. Like, yes, we want to address anxiety, but we did that 3 years ago, and you brought it up for the next 2 years. So, but you've gotten better. You've gotten better, and I'm proud of you. So, but here's why I bring it up today.
I'm ready.
Today, that is all in the realm of your health. And I'm just like, at this point, nobody cares. So what we're going to do is we're going to break my one rule about talking about health. We're going to talk about mine.
Ask me if I'm shocked at all.
How does that make you feel?
Oh, we don't want to go into how it makes me feel. Validated and not being seen and heard. No, I'm excited to talk about your health. All I do is want to come on this show and talk about you, Taylor. That's why I'm here. Yeah. That's it. The 100%. Only reason.
Everyone knows that that's a lie because everybody knows that I have no problem talking about myself on my show, and you have no problem talking about yourself on my show. So let's just stay in our lanes.
What? Oh my God! I thought you were going to be fair and saying you have no problem talking about me on my show. Unless it's somebody's first time, which welcome, and you should pick another show. But if it's not, this is what we talk about.
Oh man, you want to hear the greatest thing ever?
I'm ready.
I haven't talked about this, but like a month ago, maybe not even a month ago, I railed about my experience with NFP with Jon.
I saw that. I actually watched that.
Oh my goodness. So it was a little bit more of a spicier take for me. And I usually keep those things pretty close to my chest, but for whatever reason, I wanted to talk about it. Somebody emailed me like an 8-paragraph thing, and they were very kind, but they told me it was their first episode to ever listen to. And I'm like, oh no, like you didn't get any semblance of what this show is at all.
So wait, here's the question. Are they staying as a listener, or are they like, and thank you, here's my hat? Like, you know what I mean?
I don't know it. Like, I don't know if they've listened again because I haven't heard from them since. I responded to the email, but they sent a very nice email, and they were very encouraging. Like, they were very nice. Good. Even I was sharing some failures in my part, and they were very kind, which I didn't assume from new listeners. I maybe assumed that for like continued listeners. People know me, and they know that I have a 70% good heart and 30% black heart, and like it comes out, that sort of thing. But
that's why you have your wall in the back. That's your heart. That's what's actually
right. Yeah, absolutely. And actually, if you people pay attention, the way that it's framed actually shows which one is heart and which one is black. There's a lot of black shown today.
And I know we're not here to talk about this, but I want to say I don't think you were as. In your NFP episode, I don't think you actually went too deep in it. I was kind of like, come on, man, like get a shovel. Let's get, but I was kind of like, Taylor, but for you on publicly, I know that was a big deal for you. Privately, I know you differently, but yeah, I feel like you could have even pushed that envelope a little bit further. I'm really proud of you, even proud of what you said. I don't think you did anything, and I would tell you, I'd be like, Taylor, I was a little far, but I think you did great.
So everyone that knows me in real life and has heard me have my real conversation in real life says I didn't go far enough.
Yeah, we were
but everybody that had never heard me talk about it was like, whoa. It's a little much, buddy. Yeah.
The rest of us were like, this is like when you're like, hey, pass the salt. Like, this is like.
John, Anthony, you, everybody that I've had, like, I've, yelled at with this stuff before. I was testing the waters, and it went well. So, okay, great. Back to my health, Liv.
Back to you.
You won't let me talk about my health. You keep interrupting with other points.
Sorry.
Golly.
Let's talk about your love life. Go ahead.
And this actually, I was about to say, this actually has something to do with you. And then you had to go and throw in love life. That's not it. My health actually has something to do with you. We'll get to that at the end.
Okay, I will hold on and wait for it.
I
won't interrupt.
Want you to be a part of this conversation at some point. But I went to the doctor, and one thing that I have been dealing with, I've been dealing with a lot of little things, but they all have added up to be pretty frustrating, right? So like the biggest thing is that, especially since it's gotten cold, I feel like I haven't been like a fully healthy since it's been cold. But ironically enough, it's weird. Like I actually feel almost healthier than I have been in a very long time because I haven't gotten like, I have bad allergies. I always have. Like I always get like, a few sinus infections that kick me down for, 2 or 3 during the cold season. We're getting to the end of the cold season, and I didn't have like the full on, like I didn't get the, the Transformers virus. I didn't get a cold. I didn't get all this stuff, but it's like, I feel like I've only been like 85, 90% health the whole time, where it's like minor cold symptoms, but not enough to have a cold, but over the span of like 4 or 5 months. And it's been really weird. So like I go to sleep and like I'm incredibly hydrated, and all of a sudden I wake up 2 hours later and my mouth is like, it feels like the desert. Like it's just everything just dried out, right? So I was like, this is going on. And then I think I shared on a few months ago that I was having some problems with my elbows, and I got like a kind of a what do they call it? Like experimental procedure done on my elbow. And it worked for a little while, but didn't really solve the issue. And all this stuff is going on. And like everybody knows that has ever been around me or seen me knows that I sweat a ton and like all this stuff. Right. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, like I got to talk to my doctor about this. So I tell her about all this stuff, about the dry mouth, which I told her about 6 months ago, the last time I saw her. And she was like, here, try this over the counter. Like, it's kind of like a mouthwash that you take at night and it helps. And like, it does help. But then I finished the whole bottle and they were like, don't take more than 3 times without consulting your doctor. And I was like, well, my doctor's the one who consulted me to do this. So I told her, I was like, I used all the bottle and then stopped.
With a straw.
Right.
Was that wrong?
It's very yummy. It's very yummy.
Oh my gosh.
So I having all these things and I'm telling her about it. and she's like, okay, it might be this drug that you've been this pill that you've been taking for the last 12 years. And I am very attached to this pill, Liv, because I started taking this pill when I was having 2 to 3 migraines a week because I wasn't sleeping well. I think I've talked about this briefly before, but like I don't have any problem going to sleep, but my body has a problem going from light sleep into deep sleep. I essentially never, like in my REM cycle, never hit deep sleep. So I could sleep for 5 hours or 12 hours, and I would wake up just as tired. It didn't matter because my body wasn't actually resting. So this pill, all it did was help me go from light sleep into deep sleep and have like a normal REM cycle, like a regular human being. I've been taking that for like 12 years.
Wow.
And she was like, I think that might be, with everything going on, I think that might be part of the problem. So let's change that. And let's also do some blood work. She's like, there could be 2 things. It could either be the drug or it could be this autoimmune thing. And I was like, okay. So we're trying both of those right now. I just went yesterday, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I was pretty scared to get off that drug because like a couple of times over the last like 10 years, I've been traveling and I either forget to bring my medicine or I run out. I have 5 pills for 7 days. If I do not take that medicine, I get a migraine after 2 days. Like if I have it for 1 day, it's fine. But if I don't take it that next night, I will wake up with a migraine 100% like clockwork, right?
Wow.
So I tried a new sleeping medicine last night and I slept great. Like to the point, I don't know what's in this drug, Liv, but I will say that I had to give my ID to get it.
Whoa.
And it's some kind of controlled substance. And it's not, at this point, it's not that I'm not telling people. I don't know what it is, but apparently it's pretty serious.
You're like, and also I'm going to make money with it. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
That's amazing.
That's why. I think people could sell it for good money, which is why I had to like go through all the things. But I'd rather have no money and no migraines than money and migraines. So I'm going to keep taking this medicine. So we're on night 1 and I feel great. We'll see how I feel tomorrow.
So funny enough, like this happening got you into not that kind of funny. Got you to try a new drug that might even be better than the one you were already taking.
Yeah.
Now, were you thirsty? That's what I want to know. Did you wake up with a dry mouth?
I did. I did. But she
Okay.
also told me that like because I've been taking this other drug so long that it's got to stay in my system for a while. So I'm going to see her in 2 weeks. 1, to see how the drug is working after 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then 2, to get the results back from my blood work yesterday. And do you know how I feel? Have we talked about blood work with me before?
I don't know, but I'm looking at your face.
So, how much do you think I weigh, Olivia?
Oh no, we're not playing that game. 458.
You guess me, and then I'll guess you.
You're a jerk.
I weighed in at 282 pounds yesterday.
Did you? I would not have guessed that.
What do you think the average nurse who takes my blood over the course of my life? What do you think the average nurse weighs that takes my blood?
103.
103 is probably pretty dang close. So,
I know, because I see the same nurses.
Yeah.
Every time they walk in, I'm like, oh, here's Brittany or Ashley. Heather.
Mr. Taylor was taught as a young boy to be manly in every physical deed, like when sports and like push through pain and push through injury, and like I played with stitches in my knee. I played a full quarter of football with my shoulder separated, like it wasn't working, like it was just dangling on my side. I could do all that stuff. My collarbone was shoved into my ribs, and I still held onto the football and played the rest of the half. Like that stuff doesn't bother me.
But
a 103-year-old little old lady taking blood out of my body.
Yeah.
What do you think the chances are of her catching me as I pass out right on front of her?
Did you really pass out?
Not yesterday, but I have before.
So wait, do you look at it? Like, is it do you watch it, or it's just the whole concept? You just get kind of all worked up in your brain?
It's a very Catholic concept, Liv, because, you know, we hear a lot about the blood of Christ, and the blood of Christ was spilled, and then his body died. And blood is like we literally have the word our life blood, like our blood is our life. If our blood stops pumping, we die. Right. That has been drilled into my head so much that just the thought and the feeling, I'm not joking. I literally feel like my life is being sucked out whenever somebody's
Well, it's not a fun feeling, Taylor. Have you ever had an IV?
Yes. I could tell my IV story if you'd like.
It's your day.
Because I'm very stressed out about getting shots is not a problem. But the feeling of consistently having the needle and being able to feel something leave my body or go in. So like I can feel the blood leaving my body, and the IV, I can feel like the coolness. I hate it. So they're trying to give me an IV, or they gave me an IV before they put me under for my last surgery. And I am just so stressed. I am drenched. 45 minutes later, they are waiting for me to calm down, and this little nurse comes by, and she's like, "We're waiting for your heartbeat to go down. We're waiting for you to calm down." And I finally, after 45 minutes, I grab her arm, and I pull her closer to me. I said, "You know what would calm me down? Putting me to sleep." And she goes, "Okay," and they did. I was asleep within 60 seconds.
Yeah, don't they have like the gas and stuff? Aren't you the person that they need that for?
It's like, golly, God, they just left me sitting there for 45 minutes. Okay, we keep diverting off the stories. Okay, so yesterday was the most blood that I've ever had taken.
How many did they take out? How many tubes?
It was 4 vials, which is the most I've ever had.
I'm patting you on the head virtually. That's adorable.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm fine with that. It's way too much for me.
Yeah, that's okay.
My usual blood work is like 2, right?
Sure.
But she was checking me for this autoimmune thing.
Yeah.
Called, like, she thinks it might be a rheumatoid thing, which is a word that I'd only heard with, like, rheumatoid arthritis, which you mentioned old people earlier. So
we were making future plans of when we hang out in the same old folks' home.
Yeah, exactly.
Taylor has to come and push me in my wheelchair.
Right, yeah. And then we'll switch.
We're going to play bingo together. It's going to be amazing.
But I made the mistake of Googling it yesterday and quickly turned it off. I don't want to read about that.
Don't.
So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in 2 weeks. But a lot of it would make sense because a lot of the rheumatoid issues, it's like dryness of mouth, tendonitis, which is what I've been having in my elbows, sweating a lot. All these things seem to line up. So I might be finding out a thing that I have had my entire life in the next 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Because some people are like, "Oh, you just sweat because you're fat." I was like, "Bud, we've talked about it before. I was studied by Baylor Medicine because I was in peak shape. And you know how much I sweat then? The same amount that I do now. So it's not a fat thing. Leave me alone."
Can we make shirts that say it's not a fat thing?
It's not a fat thing. Leave me alone. And on the back,
leave me alone.
Okay, we have a few minutes left. I have to get through this.
Yeah.
Okay. My doctors, my primary doctor and my dentist are sisters, and they are in the same building.
That's adorable.
They're so much fun. They remind me of the Indian sisters in The Good Place. Like they're literally them. It's so great. I love them to death. I feel so comfortable there. Yesterday, I've been seeing them both for like 6 years, and yesterday for the first time, I scheduled it so I could see them at the same time. So like, I literally went to the dentist. They took my x-rays. Then they took me over to the doctor. I had the meeting with the doctor. Then when I was done with the doctor, they took me over to the dentist. And I send a tweet out every 6 months about my trip to the dentist. They adore me. I don't floss at all. We joke and laugh about it. They don't even care. They don't even tell me anymore. I'm like,
it's not happening.
The meme of like,
it's not happening.
You've probably seen the meme before. I've been making the joke with it became a popular meme over the last 6 months. But I think I started it because I tweet about it every 6 months. I was like, she asked like, "When's the last time you flossed?" And I was like, "You were there." Like,
go get Courtney. She did it. 100-pound
exactly.
Courtney. Lost my teeth.
Exactly. So
I love it.
But like, I think what did she say last time? She said like, she was like, "Your teeth are immaculate. Like I just have pristine teeth."
Mm-hmm.
And that all changed yesterday. Yesterday was a rough day, Liv.
You had blood taken out and not pristine teeth?
I did.
Oh.
So I had a little bit of pain in my tooth last week, and I told her about it. And she went and took it was like a little camera that she shoved into the back of my mouth because it was my farthest back top left molar.
Okay.
And I've never had braces. I've never had like real big cavities, but I have had a couple of fillings. Like, they do cavity counting or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so I've had this filling for God knows how long. It's probably been since I was in high school, right?
Since you started the other medicine 12 years ago.
Right, yeah. It was all the same day, actually. Those
happened.
Doctors were brothers. So I saw something yesterday, Liv, that completely changed how I view myself. I'm generally a pretty clean person. I take pretty good care of myself. Like I think ironically enough, because I sweat so much, I actually end up showering about twice a day. I bring extra clothes. Like anybody that's been around me knows, like I like to stay pretty clean.
Yeah.
And even like my teeth are pretty clean. They've been called immaculate before. I saw half of my filling fell out. That's why I was feeling pain last week. I was eating chips or something, and all of a sudden, half of my filling came out. So I saw under my filling, for a filling that has been there for maybe half of my life. And I've never been grossed out by anything more than seeing something in my own mouth that I could do nothing about. It was grotesque.
I wanted you to say like half a pork chop came out or like some brisket.
No. It was much worse than that.
Oh, Taylor. So are you going to write a note to the lady dentist and be like, please stay my friend. Sorry about what you had to see.
Yeah, they're going to refill it later this week. So I won't
You got
be
a lot
as
going
gross.
on.
I know, I do. I just go see the sisters every few months and try to get everything fixed.
That sounds very Catholic. Like people can be like, you have nuns that take care of
it. Right. Well, ironically enough, I was about to make a Catholic point. You're very close. So it's this weird thing. A week ago, I knew there was something wrong with my tooth, but obviously I couldn't see it. And I couldn't even really, I didn't know instinctively, half of my filling's gone. It's grotesque back there now. But I knew something was wrong, right?
Yeah.
But I thought it was this minor issue. I kind of knew something was wrong. And it wasn't until I went to go talk to this doctor, the dentist, the doctor, and she was like, she literally showed me, in a way that I couldn't do it. I joked with her. She was having trouble doing it because she's like, she literally couldn't get it because it's my back molar and my jaw muscles were in the way. And she's like, I've never had to deal with this. I was like, yeah, you've never had anybody that just doesn't shut up. My muscles are strong in my jaw because I never stop moving my mouth. And so, but I was like, do you want me to shove my iPhone in there? She was having trouble getting it.
Oh my gosh.
I finally got the pictures. And it was revealed to me that something within me was incredibly gross, and I didn't know it, right? So, it almost immediately lives. Sometimes I have to go through these life scenarios, and then I'm like, okay, how can I connect this to Catholicism in time to record the next show? Immediately, I thought of the examination of conscience. And conversations with friends. Two things. Because examination of conscience, I was like, I knew that there was something wrong within me, in my tooth, right? But I wasn't fully aware of what it was until I went to go see the professional, which is do an examination of conscience. I know something's wrong, but I need to go to confession. Secondly, literally yesterday, Liv, I can't make this up. I mean, I guess I could, but I'm not that creative, so you know that I can't make this up. I do my devotional yesterday, and it's talking about not examination of conscience personally, but sharing your struggles with another person because other people can see flaws that you can't see, right? So I had a flaw in my mouth that I couldn't see without the help of somebody else that cares for me. She's been my dentist, and I've had the same hygienist for this whole 6 years, right? Literally last night, a friend of mine called me and said that something that I did offended them or saddened them, and they were revealing it to me. Something that I was like, maybe something felt a little off, but I wasn't aware that I had upset this person really until they told me, right? Yeah. And once they told me, it incredibly made sense, and I apologized, and we moved on, and everything was fine, right?
Yeah.
But literally all that happened on the same day, and I'm like, well, there's the first segment of the show.
Stay tuned.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
We'll be back.
Okay. Any final thoughts from you before I share my final thought about how you are connected to all of this?
I was going to say, I give Taylor cavities. And the other gross thing in my life, Liv Harrison.
Yeah. No. I didn't need help seeing that one.
No, I think that that's really profound. And actually, my final thought, to be honest, out of everything you've said, I kind of want to give kudos to the person that called you, because who does that anymore? You know what I mean? Like, instead of like going to the whole tooth thing, letting it fester and get gross and you don't even know, this person came to you and said something that's really mature and that's really adulty. And I think that's awesome. So that's my final thought on that. Kudos to them.
Yeah. And even then, it was even more growth, because like the first time that I upset them, they kept it to themselves and shared it with somebody else, and I heard it from somebody else. The second time I upset them, they texted me about it, which I was like, I would much rather you call me about it, but this is better than not telling me, but I'd much rather we just talk about it. And then the second time, they didn't text me. They said, hey, can we talk on the phone? And we talked on the phone. So like, even that was just growth. It was just a really good day overall.
Yeah,
the day that I found out I had a rheumatoid autoimmune disorder was a really good day. Here's the final thing, Liv.
Okay, I'm ready.
And you're going to love this. I have been sweating profusely my entire life.
Yeah.
And I had this doctor's appointment set. When I saw you a month ago, you told me, there has to be something that can fix sweating.
Yeah.
And you were being nice. Like, you weren't being mean about it.
Yeah.
But I just never thought. I was like, this is just the way I am. Mm-hmm. There's nothing that can be done. It's just how I am. So you gave me the courage to tell my doctor about it. I've never talked to my doctor about it, because it's always just been like, there's always been a little bit of like as I've gotten older, like I get used to it and I can joke about it, but there's still a little, especially growing up, but it's even a little now, there's a little bit of embarrassment about it and that sort of thing, right? So I finally got the courage to tell my doctor about it. And the most bougie person that I know in my entire life is you. And the answer that I got for how to fix this is the most bougie option I've ever heard. Do you have any idea what the doctor told me that we could do to quell some of my sweating?
I'm going to guess it's plastic surgery. Something.
She 100% said we could insert Botox into your underarms. And I was like, of course this is the outcome. When I bring something that Liv told me to bring up to my doctor, of course this woman told me to get Botox. I'm like, have you looked at me? There's not anything. There's no Botox going in this.
I've got a great plastic surgeon. So if you want her number,
sure you do.
She is fantastic.
I will not be getting Botox in my underarms. That's my announcement for this week's show.
Glad I could be of assistance.
So those of you watching on YouTube, you're just going to have to deal with me sweating, because I'm not sticking Botox into my underarms. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. We're going to talk about some character development, which we actually kind of started talking about already. Do not leave, or I'll be very sad. Sadder than I was when I found out that I have rheumatoid arthritis.
Oh, my gosh.
One of my favorite Catholic movies is called The Way. It's with Martin Sheen and his son. It's about walking the Camino de Santiago in Spain. I love the movie so much. If you haven't watched it yet, you should check it out. It's all about walking the Camino in this amazing pilgrimage to a Catholic church, to the Cathedral of St. James. I've always wanted to do this. We just talked about my health. I hopefully get my feet under control and get in some shape and lose a little bit of weight, and then I can go do the Camino one day. If you would like to go do the Camino this summer, Select International Tours is leading a trip from July 23rd through August 2nd. You can check all of it out at fortecatholic.com/tours, TOURS. I am jealous. I would love to be able to go on this trip this year. I can't, but you can. Hopefully, I'll be able to go in the future. So check it out. If you want to go do one of the coolest Catholic pilgrimages and walk the Camino, then I think you should do it. fortecatholic.com/tours. Welcome back to Forte Catholic. I'm rheumatoid arthritis. She is obesity and anxiety. Welcome back to the show.
You're the worst. After the show, people can be like, why are you always eating after you get off? Filming with Taylor, and I'm like, because
it helps with the anxiety.
Childhood, like
but
the entire time. It's everything I worked hard for. That's fine, Taylor.
It's okay. All right, you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. It's okay. If you want later, you can text or call me that I offended you. And I can apologize so we can move on. Okay.
We'd have nothing to talk about except that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It was me who
Our
called.
whole relationship is just us apologizing to each other. So sorry. Okay. I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts the other day. It's called the Nate Land Podcast. It's Nate Bargatze's podcast. You know Nate Bargatze, the comedian?
No, I don't think so.
Very popular comedian. He's a Christian guy. He's clean. Always clean in his comedy. And every year at Christmas, our guest every year, it's always me, Father Anthony, and Catholic comedian Aaron Weber. He is also a co-host on the Nate Land Podcast, and there's this other guy named Brian Bates who just had his first baby yesterday. So big week for the Nate Land Podcast. But they were saying something the other day. It's a very funny show, and it is more. It has less of a point than a lot of our shows seem to have to. Like they have, it's like usually the episodes are like 2 to 2.5 hours, and they have a topic, and they usually get to that topic about an hour and a half in.
I'd be great for that show.
I know you would.
I need to audition for that show.
Right. It's 3 comedians. It is so funny. It is one of the weirdest.
No.
It's one of those. It's like usually for a good product, they say that if you have a good product and good marketing, you should be able to explain it in a sentence.
Sure.
So people ask what this podcast is. I'm like, it's Catholic entertainment and comedy. It's kind of like youth group for adults. Like that's what I say for people for this show. We've gotten it to be like pretty succinct, right? But if you ask me to explain the Nate Land Podcast, like. You can't. I was like, you have to listen to it for about a year before you get it. But it's so funny. But it's these 3 comedians, and it's been going for about 2 years. And somebody commented on their show, and they read it on the show. They said that they were like giving it a fake review, like they gave them 5 stars, but they were like 1-star review. They're rating it like a TV show. They were like, this show has no character development. They've been the same people this whole time. Because like in TV shows, you want character development, right? You want people to have story arcs and for people to either get better or worse as a person. We want there to be some kind of character development. So they said that all 3 hosts have had no character development in the 2 to 3 years that they've been doing the podcast. Like it's just as dumb, and they're still as flawed as they were today as they were on the first day of the show. So that got me thinking. How's the character development on Forte Catholic going with our co-hosts?
Oh, God.
I've been hosting the show for 6 years,
Really?
and the 4 co-hosts have been around for 3, or give or take. It's all really close, right? You and John were the newer 2, but it's still been about 3. Allison and Father Anthony is like 3.5, almost 4, right? And I've been doing the show for 6. So we're going to go through all of us, and we're going to see if we think that we have had any character development as a personality on the show. So do you want to start with you or me? We'll start with you and I because we're here first, and then we'll branch off into the other hosts.
Okay. I say, I wish we could be a couple, like you and I. It's like working together.
No. That's
Hold my hand, Taylor. I don't want to do this alone.
I don't want to do this alone.
I don't want to know about me. Us, I think we've grown a lot.
Okay, what do you mean by that? We'll see if we can get into what I want to do with what you want to do.
Okay, I'll be honest. I think we've always had great chemistry. I think from the very beginning we've had great chemistry. But I feel like now it's like any relationship. I think we really know each other. Like we can read each other. We don't even have
really push each other's buttons.
True. But we can, I think that takes time, and that doesn't always happen with people that that you work with. I think when it looks so, which is why I wanted you on my show, because I think, you recognize how rare that is and how that is something that it does not just show up, and it's not just because you have good skills or this person's more talented than the other. There really is a thing as chemistry, and there really is a thing of a relationship where you can start reading each other and you do well with each other. And I think where I've really seen it is, and I know we're talking about your show, but on my show, when we do the sketch comedy, we don't even talk about it. Like we don't even say a word about it. We put on wigs and then we just start filming. And it's great. And I think that takes time. So I would say that's great development.
Which is funny because this show is releasing Tuesday on YouTube and Wednesday on podcasts of this week. Your next episode releases on Thursday. And I feel like people should go watch it because we did one of my favorite skits where you have never broken, very rarely have you broken character. And I never break character. I broke you as a human person.
I could not
coming out.
I couldn't get it together.
It's so funny to me. All you kept saying, and I left it in because I'm the editor, after the skit is over, you just kept saying, "You're so funny. You're so funny." You're always so shocked when you think I'm funny. Like, the amount of shock is, like, you're complimenting me, and I'm just like, I'm offended that you're this shocked that I'm funny. You're like, "Oh, I didn't know you were good at comedy." I'm like, Liv, I've been doing it for longer than you have.
No, here's what I've learned during the pandemic. There is a friend of mine who I go to for life coaching, actually. I've gone to her for almost 2 years now. And stop. And she when I booked the late night show that you and I are talking about, the first thing she asked me was, "Can you write comedy?" And I was like, "I don't know." She was like, she's known me since I was 11. She goes, "Liv, you're funny, but can you write it?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know." Like, there are different levels of comedy. There's different skill sets, just as, as being a speaker, being an MC, being a radio host, all those are really different skill sets. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I'm good at all of them. It seems all the same to me.
We're both good at all of them, but not everybody's like that. If we were on Broadway, we'd be triple threats, but nobody cares what you do in the Catholic world. But you know what I mean?
No, I would need Botox for that.
Oh my gosh. The front row would all have ponchos.
No, I legitimately, when I give talks, I call the first row the Shamu Splash Zone.
I was like, why is my chair painted? What does that mean? So I'm just saying, like, to do improv and sketch comedy with you, that's different than you and I just sitting here and, like, even bantering or whatever it is that we do. That's a whole, even whenever we do my show and you're you're being my Questlove or my Ed McMahon, that's
this
different.
This whole show is improv. I don't tell you anything that we're talking about because that's the character development I have learned with you.
Yeah, but
is that you're terrible. You're terrible with planning, but you're pretty good at going off of me. If I tell you what we're going to talk about, if I tell you, like, "Hey, we're going to tell this story and then make this point," you'll make the point 2 minutes in and ruin the whole segment.
I just keep you motivated.
Yeah, to find a new co-host. Okay, let's get back to the thing I wanted to talk about.
Okay, back to you.
You'd be a good news anchor. Back to you.
Back to you, Taylor.
You're the person in the field. I'm the co-anchor because I'm cool. Okay, so where I think you have grown, it's actually pretty similar. And I think you started your show about 4 years after I started mine, and I think that like, you are right that you and I have always had a ton of chemistry. I think amongst the four, like, Anthony's probably pretty close, but, like, the other two, it kind of worked. We had to work at the chemistry and kind of find what type of topics to talk about. But, like, with you and Anthony, I can throw anything at y'all, and, like, it's just like whatever for whatever reason, it's just really easy to banter. But we joked in the first segment about, like, oh, you talk about the same things over and over again, But I feel like I did a lot of the same thing when I first started my show, because I was talking about the things that I had given talks about for years and years and years. And I was just taking that content and putting it into radio podcast form. And I feel like the things that you've been talking about, like, your whole life, weight loss, anxiety, marriage, all these things, that's kind of where you started. But then, ironically enough, this random show that nobody in this audience listens to, I think people in this audience have listened to Talk to Me, your, like, Catholic interview show, your like, leadership interview show. I think people have probably listened to It's Not That Late with Liv because it's pretty similar to this show. I think nobody has listened to your Amazon show on this audience. It's a totally different audience.
Yeah.
But you have to get up every morning and talk for an hour or 2 hours about random topics going on. And I think that show, I've already seen character development in you. Having to talk about new topics over and over and over again every morning has made you better on It's Not That Late, because you're more comfortable talking about things that you haven't been talking about for years, right? So I joke with you about it, but I actually think, like, oh, you're, like, expanding your horizons. You're being able to talk about more things. We just can't tell you what those things are beforehand, otherwise you'll ruin it.
That's really insightful, Taylor.
I pay attention. People don't think I do. But
No,
I
know
do.
You do. Those of us, there's 10 of us that know.
Yeah.
I'll call the other ones and let them know. Today's one of the days.
It pisses me off, or it pisses people off how good my memory is. I remember anything anyone has ever said or done around me.
It is. You have a very strong memory. No, and I think one of the things to talk about how you have grown is you've definitely given more space to the humanity of your co-host.
All right, next topic. So we're gonna
exactly jerk. You run a really tight ship, which I don't think a lot of people would guess that or realize that, because that's not what you give off whenever you're performing or entertaining or whatever, or working. But you do, and I think that where you have really come along, and I think. In all fairness, we won't get into it, but I think some of my life has kind of made you have to give space more times than you're like. You're like
the last thing that I said to you before we started recording this show is I'll be gentle, and then I yelled what's up.
It's so true, but coming from you, that really means a lot, because you're not gentle. But you've worked on it, and you realize it, and you realize, hey, Liv needs me to be this today. And you do. And I think that that's something that you've really come in on your own. And so I think there's there's like a strength in the softness that you've allowed. You seem stronger to me.
I'm like Aslan.
Yes, or Thor.
Oh, nice. He doesn't need Botox. I like him. Okay, so I guess we're now assuming that Aslan got Botox. Anyway, moving on. Moving on from the things we're just looking at.
I don't know where we fell on that one. Yeah.
I'm going to piggyback off of what you just said, because I think that the character development for both Jon and I in our relationship is actually the same. We were, but when we started this, we didn't know each other very well. So it was like an experiment, but two, we were both in jobs that were stressing us out. So we would come into the show. We both had incredibly difficult schedules. So we would be like, we would literally text back and forth for like days trying to find an hour and 15 minutes that worked for both of us. And it would take weeks to find okay, if we go from Tuesday at 9:37 until like 11:12, like we might be able to make it work. And so I was stressed. And so like I would get frustrated whenever like we would have with anybody, but especially with him, because he was busy too, when we'd have to reschedule or something. Like rescheduling meant I'm not going to record with him for the next 2 weeks or something.
Yeah.
So it was adding frustration to our relationship, and then it would be kind of, that would obviously come into the show. So then I left my job and started doing this. So then I was more relaxed. So then I could be more accommodating to his schedule, right? And then he left his job, and now he's less stressed. So now we're just like literally pick an hour in the week and we'll record then. So we're both less stressed.
Yeah.
So I think just our life scenarios, our life situations has made us less stressed, which like the last 6 shows he and I have recorded together, he's looked at me and said, that's the most fun I've had on the show in forever. So I think we've just lightened up a lot in our lives and in our relationships. So that's helped the show. Father Anthony, like you and he are like, our relationships are very similar. Like he and I hit it off literally from day one on Twitter. We had one of my favorite interviews I've ever done was him. And then I immediately asked him to be a co-host. So like we've hit it off really well. And he actually helped me with some character development. The thing that you said about like opening up and letting your co-host he didn't say more humanity, but he was like letting them have a little bit more air and some more floor. It's because of him, because he kept pestering me about it, because he's like, stop interrupting me. I'm trying to make a point. I'm like, okay, priest.
He's the only one that could say that to you. The rest of us don't stand a chance.
Right, yeah. He's like, shut up.
We write him. Yeah. We tell him to say it.
Yeah. Y'all have a text thread without me, just the 4 of y'all about me.
He's like the mom in the relationship. Yeah. Mom, tell dad.
Yeah. It's like my big fat Greek wedding. Y'all 4 are the women controlling me through a text.
Exactly. The neck. Exactly.
Yeah. And then with Allison, I mean, I've told her this multiple times, but like when she first started on the show, Like she had her notes and she read from her notes. I would ask the question, and it didn't matter what question I asked. She answered the question that she had in her head that was in her notes, right? And like she doesn't like it, but I think one thing, the first part of it was like getting away from her notes. One,
yeah,
and that she was still pretty uncomfortable, but also I think like being confident in this isn't her primary skill, like going off the cuff, but she is very good at it.
Yeah,
and she didn't realize that she's incredibly good at it. Just because she's super holy and good at speaking and all those sorts of things. So that's my character development for everybody.
I feel like out of everybody, to be honest, I think Allison has had the most character growth. But it also, I've known her the longest, so maybe that's also why I recognize it. But I don't think so. I think she really has. I think she has really grown the most since being on the show, to be honest.
Which is incredible because she was the best person out of all of us when we started. So if she's had the most character growth, she's left us all in the dust. Yeah.
Allison. The prettiest, the best at growing. What can she not do?
No. How dare you? Anthony is the prettiest.
That's true. You're not wrong.
Okay, so like I know you don't listen, but you know. So do you have any thoughts on the two boys?
Oh yeah, on the guys. I think what I was gonna say, I see the same in what you're saying. There's definitely a shift with Jon in the last few months, especially since his personal life changed so much, which I think is such a, you know, that's a testament to so many men, and especially in young families or in early marriages. I mean, you guys are young, you know, and it's not like you've been doing this for super long. The beginning of marriage and when you have little tiny kids and you're really working and every day counts and matters, it's very different, you know, and there is a level of stress. And I think with Father Anthony, he's just always so cool. Like he is so relaxed and cool.
It makes me so angry to say
Oh my gosh. He would be a great military
criminal.
chaplain. He would be like, yeah, okay, so your arm's over there.
No, he's not manly enough for that.
I was talking about the coolness, Taylor.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think he also has, in what I've seen in him is that he's allowed you to have some more space in who you are, is kind of what I've seen a little bit. Like it's kind
100%.
of, you know, so I think that's been interesting also to see the development there, because thinking about the priesthood, you are the big cat in charge all the time. You know what I mean? Like you have a different not issue. That sounds negative. You have a different set of circumstances of your everyday. You've got a wife and kids.
A very particular set of skills.
and he is not doing that. He's not thinking of a wife and children all day long. You know what I mean? He's not trying to
shows what you know.
Great. This is the episode that we share all the secrets. You know, he doesn't have a mortgage. I mean, he's coming at this with a different set of concerns, stress, you know, whatever. And so I think for him to have to work with you on that, I think his humanity shows in a different way now. Does that make sense?
He has made me more. He has allowed me to be me more than any human being in the world. Other than my
absolutely.
wife, he has allowed me to be me professionally too. So
I
like you people. I feel like we've all had a lot of character growth. Let us know what y'all think. Who's had the most character growth? And be nice. Every time I ask a question like this, somebody's like, you know, Liv sucks and she's the worst. She's gotten worse as a person. Or, you know, Jon's my favorite and Anthony shouldn't have left Twitter or whatever. Just be nice. Be nice. Tell us how we've grown, not how we've gotten worse. I just thought it was really cool. So we do have more character development than the Nate Led podcast. That is what we're proclaiming today.
You heard it here.
You heard it here first. All right. Do not go anywhere. When we come back, I'm going to share with Liv and with all of you a flip book that my daughter made me because I'm God too much. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Attention Amazon shoppers. Did you know that every single one of your purchase that you make on Amazon, you can force Amazon to donate money to Forte Catholic? You can! This is all with their program called Amazon Smile. So if you go to smile.amazon.com or amazon.smile.com or literally just type in Amazon Smile, it will take you to it. And you could select from any charity. And every purchase that you get, a portion of it, Amazon will donate to that charity. It doesn't cost you an extra penny at all. Some people have started to do this. I just got like a $16 payment from Amazon this month, costing listeners no more to you. So if you would like to support us in a way that is free for you, because we all know everybody shops on Amazon these days, especially after the last 2 years when we didn't want to shop in places anymore. Please, it would mean the world to me if you go and set us up, set Forte Catholic up as your charity over at Amazon Smile. Thanks. Welcome back to Forte Catholic. I am Taylor Stroll, and I've been traveling a lot. That's Olivia Eugene Harris, or Olivia Newton-John, as she's fondly known. That's another part of character development. We've all gotten new names for years we've been doing this. Okay, so I returned from a trip. I have my life is back, and I'm very happy about it. I've been flying once or twice a month to travel, spread the gospel, and then one time I went for fun. I flew to John's house for a March Madness party in Chicago. Stay tuned next week. Our first ever in-person recording with Jon Blevins airs next week. Okay, but because I've been recording, because I have been traveling. My kids have begun to miss me because I've been trapped in the house with them since COVID started. Like, I haven't left at all. So they probably don't remember that Daddy is a person that travels. So my daughter, who is a tremendous artist, made me a book this last time I was gone. It's it's one of those books, like, the kids' books where you open them and they're like, is the cat behind the fridge? And then you open the fridge, like, no, it's just milk. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay, it's that type of book. So first of all, incredibly creative.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a flip book. That's what they're called. It's incredibly creative that she did this. But this is the first page of this one. Where is my daddy?
I love that she's winking.
It's called, but just the fact, like, I'm gone, and she goes, "Where's my daddy?"
Oh,
so,
baby.
I open up the first page, and I'll show it to you. It says, "Did you like the bunny and eggs? Because if you did, I love you." It's me and Maggie. She made us there. Okay.
Oh, wait. What grade is she in, Taylor?
She is in first grade.
Wow.
Maggie is cooking for Daddy. Is he hiding under the blankets, which is a rainbow, which made me think things. I'm not under the blanket. Under the blanket is. No, just some headphones, because she knows that I work with headphones.
I can't believe she actually made this. Like, that's incredible.
Incredible.
No, it really is.
This is going to be your favorite page, I think. Other than the where is Daddy kind of broke my heart a little bit. Okay. Is he in the podcast room? She made the podcast room. Is that incredible?
She's the greatest human ever.
And then she said, no, but a computer and a chair are in there, because she knows that I work on the computer and sit in my fancy chair. And then she just drew herself for no reason. Incredible. Okay. Do you like this so far?
This is so good.
Is he behind the curtains? I guess, no, what's behind the curtains?
Oh.
No. But the sun is out, and it's happy. The happy sun.
Stop it.
This is incredible. Is he outside by the door? Is he? Is he outside by the door, Olivia?
Pumpkin,
little sweet. Yes, I love you, Daddy, so much. I came home.
She even
is that
had
not
an
the sweetest?
Taylor,
she did.
I know you know this, but my degree's in early child. Well, I have a post-baccalaureate in early childhood development, and I taught at one point first grade. That's extraordinary. Like, that is like another level. Like, that is a different. Like, that's ridiculous. You've got to keep that for eternity. I'm serious.
Here's the rough draft.
Be buried with it.
Here's the rough draft. Where is my daddy? Where is my daddy? I miss him so much. Daddy, come out. Daddy, I love you. Maggie is looking for her daddy. Is he under the blanket? No, but there's his hat. I'm so in love with her.
Oh my gosh.
Is it behind the curtains? No, but it's a sunny day and the sun is out. First draft of the sun page. And that was the end of the first draft. I love her so much.
Did you weep? Like, did you crumble to the ground and just heave and weep? Like, that is the sweetest thing I've ever seen.
I didn't weep, but like my heart was full and dropped, because hearing "Where is Daddy" is a sad thing. I was gone for 2.5 days. Leave me alone. But at the same
I'm not mad at you for that.
At the same time, it was so sweet. She took her gifts, and she's so talented at art. But I had no idea she had the creativity to make a flip book.
Yes.
Incredible.
Well, not only that, but Taylor, she had a beginning, a middle, and end. She had like my undergrad is in human development. What you're seeing her do is she proposes a question and then she goes on to answer it to her listener. Like, she's also thinking of someone else. She's not just thinking about her perspective. She's entertaining someone who's reading it. Like, I'm telling you, I'm not just geeking out because I love Maggie, which we all know I do, but like, she legit, there's some heavy hitting stuff going on in that book, like really high level stuff that is not normal for a first grader at all. I'm telling you, I'm serious. That's extraordinary. For real, for real.
So in your professional opinion, since you studied the early childhood development and you're very impressed by this,
I am.
How much am I going to have to pay for her therapy that the book is called "Where is My Daddy"? Because he's gone all the time.
He is
I
not.
feel like I'm so impressed with her, but at the same time, I'm like, oh no.
No, she's good. You do such a good job though, because we both travel a lot, but I travel and I go for like weeks. You travel and you're gone 48 hours. Like, you do a really good job about that. And you know, what's so funny, you gave me a compliment earlier about how I got you to talk to your doctor. You actually, I'm not kidding, are one of the reasons why I go shorter now I still go like 5-6 days, but I was going like 19, 16. And now I go about 5-6 days. One of that was watching you, because it does make a difference. So she's going to be fine. She's going to be absolutely fine. And here's the thing. It's actually a positive thing that she does miss you and that she sees that she misses you, but that you come back in the end. That's also a really big deal. You don't need to worry about it. That is her showing you that she knows, yes, Daddy has to go. These are the places he does go, like, to the podcast room, but my dad will come back. That's a really powerful message. Talk about on the whole Catholic thing too. I mean, with Easter coming up, Jesus has to go. Is he behind the rock?
Daddy, come back.
But he will return. So,
Christ has died. Christ is risen. Christ will come again.
There's your connection.
Daddy flew away and he went to the podcast room, but he'll spend time with us on the weekends.
See? Samesies.
So as we all
really
know,
positive.
my
really
connections to the Lord are incredible.
Once again, Taylor's like, and you can all compare me to God.
Absolutely. Well, good. We did it, Olivia. We did a podcast. Congratulations. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
We were all very on heightened awareness of how we treated one another because of the gentleness and because we knew we were going to talk about our character development. So hopefully we were genuine and nice to each other. I'll be back next week. I'll talk to Liv in a month. See ya! Thank y'all so much for watching and listening to today's episode. We hope that you enjoyed it. We had a blast. Recording this one. It was a lot of fun. So if you did enjoy it, share it with your friends. Share it on social media. The streets have been quiet over in the social media slums. Share your favorite episode. Share a quote. All these things. Make fun of us. I don't care. It'd be awesome. That's how we grow the most, is through grassroots stuff. Share it with your friends. Share it on the socials. Tag us. We'll retweet it. All that kind of stuff. You guys rock. Subscribe if you haven't already. We love you, and we'll see you soon.